So in this video, we're going to talk about how to build an email list from scratch and how, as a health professional, how you can get started with this, with the 7 steps that you can start with today. The one thing that most practitioners or most entrepreneurs commonly regret is that they haven't started building the email list sooner, and specifically the relationship with the people on their list, as that's the most valuable asset going forward. And so, I'm going to go over the benefits of why an email list is so important. But if you're thinking, man, I haven't really started building my email list, is something I need to do, what I want to impart on you is like, start today. Start making progress on that. Don't put it at the bottom of your to-do list. This is one of the most important things that you can do, because it is about building preeminence, building your tribe, building up an audience that you can then serve through email. And ultimately, just as everything that we preach at Big Boost Marketing, it's about focusing on customer retention as a long-term solution for increased practice revenue and practice growth. And obviously, there's a lot of work involved, but email can make the process a lot easier because it allows you to reach your audience. Now, in terms of follow-up, we talked about this in previous videos. Ultimately, email is a great tool to encourage follow-up. And the truth about follow-up is that prospects are more than ever inundated with competing messages, not just from other health providers, but also from consumer brands. So the only way to win their attention is with spaced repetition. You need to show up in their life time and again. Consistency is really key here. And email is one of the things that allows you to be consistent and to deliver consistent value into their email inbox so that they start building a relationship with you. And ultimately, especially in integrative functional naturopathic medicine, you can't go from people see a piece of content and they immediately become a patient. There's a process behind it to nurture your prospective patients to the point where they know, like, and trust you enough to schedule that initial phone consultation. And finally, the most expensive part of your marketing is acquiring the lead. Whether you give Mark Zuckerberg money to run Facebook ads, or you pay in sweat equity, creating social media content, populating your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube channel with content, all of this takes a lot of effort. And so we want to make sure that that effort actually has a great ROI. And the way to do that is by integrating email marketing at the back end. And so the benefits of having an email list, if we need to sort of really drill this in, is like, A, there's no need to pay Facebook over and over to attract and communicate with leads. Yes, you can start marketing your practice on social media without an email list, but you're essentially relying that somebody sees it, that Facebook actually shows you the ad, and it's a lot harder because you're not in control. Versus email marketing, yes, you pay a monthly cost for your email marketing list, your email software, but it's pretty nominal. For 10, 20, 30 bucks a month, you're in the game. You can send as many emails as you want. And so compared to Facebook ads, that's a relatively low cost. You also own this media channel. So unlike, posting stuff on Facebook, where Facebook could always deny a post, or Facebook could choose not to approve an ad for, let's say, a workshop, once you have people on your email list, you can send them whatever you want, whenever you want, and there's nobody telling you what you can and cannot do. And this is obviously especially important in healthcare, because Facebook doesn't want you to make their audience feel bad. So this is why when you run ads, you can use the word you, your, you can allude to their problems, their health issues, and all of you know this is what's effective to get people to take action, and yet Facebook forbids you to use those words, those languages, those tools. And so once you get people onto your email list, you can do whatever you need to do in order to actually get people to register for a workshop. The other benefit of having an email list is that you need more than 7 touch points to go from a no, not right now, to a yes. And so this is really hard to do on social media. You're relying that people continue to pay attention to your social media updates. You have to run Facebook ads to be top of mind. And so again, with an email list, you can just email them in your inbox, and we're going to talk about how to get your emails opened. But at the very least, there's a straightforward path to get in front of them and deliver the touch points, especially in the right order in which they need to see it. And this is another difference to social media, that in social media, you never know where they see the first ad, the first piece of content, what piece of content they see, in what order they see it. So it's almost like giving them the book to read, and they just choose to start on chapter 7, then skip to chapter 11, then skip to chapter 2, and becomes very hard to tell a consistent story if you don't control the sequence in which the audience is consuming your content. So with email marketing, you have an email autoresponder, which is essentially a series of emails that the software sends out in a given time frame. And so you control how that looks like over time, and that way people are consuming your content in the right order. And if I can get you to just take away one thing from this video, it's the idea that consumers are very careful with their contact information, and they really only opt in for those email sequences where there's a clear perceived value. And so when you're thinking about yourself, why are people subscribing to my email autoresponders, to my email list, or why do they even open my emails? It's really about this concept of relevant value. So said another way, if your email list isn't growing, it's simply because you're not providing enough value, and I would say provide enough relevant value. So, value is obviously in the eye of the beholder. So if somebody has IBS, then your messaging about digestive health, about IBS, about ways to deal with IBS is highly relevant and really hits the spot, and that person is very likely to opt in and open your emails because you're talking about a topic that's highly relevant to them. Now, if that person has cognition issues, then I would argue that you talking consistently about IBS is not doing anything to them, right? For them, it's not doing anything for them. And so this is why this message to market match is so important, that, if you are an expert in digestive health, then just talk about digestive health, have lead magnets about digestive health, so that the audience that you're attracting is primarily interested about digestive health, and that is then the framework for you to use in your email marketing. That's why during the opt-in, it's really important to make it crystal clear to visitors why they should subscribe to your email list and what they get if they do. And this is, again, if you use a sign up like sign up for our email list or sign up for our newsletter, that's really not going to work anymore, because nobody wants more irrelevant emails. Sign up for a newsletter, they have no idea what kind of value they're going to get from you, and so they're probably not very likely to sign up, right? So don't do that. The other thing that's so important about relevance and value is that you have to establish rapport and relevance right away. So you can't sort of let them figure this out over the course of 10 emails. It's like, what is it actually that you as a practitioner are talking about? So what you need to do is that on the thank you page, you should open with a video that introduces your practice, that introduces your mission, and explains the next step and what they can expect. So that way you establish the expectations right from the get-go, and you start out the relationship on the right foot. And one of the tools that really extends this is this concept of a 10 ways in 10 days email sequence that I've talked about in other videos, and I actually provide some resources at the end of this video to go deeper on this concept. But the idea is that once people see your content, they're interested in your articles. For instance, it's an article about Kefir 101. So what do I know about people that read articles like that? I know that they're probably interested in digestive health and prebiotics, probiotics, etc. So as a consequence of that, in the sidebar, I'm going to feature my lead magnets that are related to digestive health, right? So if you like kefir, then you like my article about probiotics or prebiotics. And so when they click these images in the sidebar of all the digestive health blog posts, they go to a landing page with my lead magnet. In this case, how to support gut health naturally with probiotics and prebiotics. And what we're showing on this page is a button that says download now. So I'm not showing them an email opt-in form here because I don't want them to think about, is this lead magnet worth my email? What I want them to think about, do I want this lead magnet? Is this information relevant to me, and do I want it? And so when you say download now, there's an implied value there that if I click download now, I'm going to get this right away, right? And so then what happens next is that as a trigger from that download now, we now get the opt-in form. And so now I'm asking them for their first name and their email. And again, click to download the guide. So I re-emphasize that value proposition that if they click the button, they're going to get the guide. Now, what happens next is that, I mentioned the thank you page that you see in the bottom right. That is your first touch point. You're officially now on the first date. You got their contact information. They have said yes to go on a date with you. So now you're on that first date. And 100% of the people that opted in for your lead magnets will see this video. So whatever you have to tell them, whatever the most important thing is that you want them to remember, put it in this video. This is where you create that personal touch point. This is where you establish the expectation. And this is where you can talk about that, they're now in for a 10-day series about digestive health, and how you can help them not only with that email sequence, but also with, a personal phone consult or your Facebook group. And then obviously in the bottom left corner, you see the email autoresponder. Again, if you can put video in those emails, at least for the first 10 emails, this is now going a long way to creating that bond, to creating, know, like, and trust factor. And so again, having that in place is allowing you to create a very strong first impression. You essentially you have essentially 11 first dates or 11 dates already queued up. So you know that for each and every opt-in, you're doing an excellent job at nurturing and introducing that person into your brand. You get your most amazing value in that email sequence. And only after that, they're on sort of the traditional weekly newsletter recap, etc. So I hope this makes sense. The reason why I go over this is because building an email list only works if you really have the back-end automation in place. And for those of you that are more visually inclined, this is like a diagram of what that could look like. So you can see on the left-hand side, you can have any number of opt-ins. So it could be opt-ins about digestive health. And all of these opt-ins go to that unified thank you page. And then as a consequence of opting in, they're now getting 10 emails from you on autopilot, one a day. And ideally, each of those has a video in it. Now, if you're first start out with just putting text emails together, but just realize that these days, people don't like to read a lot. They like to watch videos. They like to skim. And so most people don't really read a text email top to bottom. And so this is why just introducing a video or some nuggets in these emails is very powerful. All right, so now that we have talked about the back end, what you had to have in place before you start growing your email list, now let's switch gears and talk about the front end part. How do you actually grow your email list start to finish? And so step one is to use content upgrades. And what content upgrades are is essentially for every blog post that you have, there's something else that they could subscribe to at the end of the article in exchange for the email address. So one example that I can give you here is, my wife created a recipe booklet about cooking with turmeric. And when we created a landing page with just the turmeric cookbook and sent traffic to it, hardly anybody opted in. And so what we did instead is we wrote an article, how to cook with turmeric, and the article went along something like this. Everybody knows turmeric is healthy, but nobody knows how to cook with it. Here's how. So then the article went over how to cook with turmeric, the importance of using fat with turmeric. And then at the end of the article, we said, hey, now that you know how to cook with turmeric, do you want my recipe booklet with turmeric recipes? And so that was the magic trick, that suddenly everybody realized the importance of that lead magnet, because the lead magnet was suddenly so much more relevant in their life. You know, I knew that they were interested in turmeric because they read this article, How to Cook with Turmeric, that was ungated content, i.e. they didn't have to opt in to read that article. And now at the end, what's the most relevant thing that I can give them in order for them to take the next step? It's a recipe booklet, How to Cook with Turmeric, right? And so now I know the person that is opting in for my recipe booklet about turmeric is A, interested in cooking at home, and B, interested in health. So now I know what I need to be talking about in my 10 and 10. Now, for those of you that maybe talk about the importance of vitamin D, you know, you talk in your article about vitamin D, about sunshine, about all this other stuff. What's the most relevant thing that you could give them at the end of your article? Well, if your conclusion is that people should supplement vitamin D with supplements, then the next question that your audience has, well, which supplements should I take, right? And so you could have a lead magnet at the end of that blog post about vitamin D, about here's the top 5 vitamin D supplements that I recommend. And so again, for the person that is bought into the idea that you need to supplement vitamin D, they will opt in, and now you know that this person is somebody that's concerned about vitamin D and is concerned about their health. So let me know in the comments if that makes sense. So again, just reiterating what's on this page is they don't mind opting in and parting with their email address if the lead magnet that you opt in, that you provide at the end of the blog post, is related to the content of the article. And so this is especially important for high traffic pages on your website. So if you go into your Google Analytics and you look at, hey, over the last 2 years, what were my most popular articles month over month over month, I think you should start there with thinking about what is the most appropriate lead magnet that I can feature there. Now, I'm not saying that you need to create a lead magnet for each and every blog post. If you stick to message and if you're always posting about digestive health, just think about 3 or 4 digestive health lead magnets, and I guarantee you one of those 4 lead magnets will undoubtedly fit to any lead magnet, any blog post that you have about digestive health, right? So now, if you talk about 2 different areas, if you talk about autoimmunity and digestive health, then you probably have to have some lead magnets about digestive health and some about autoimmunity to be able to be more relevant, based on what you're posting. And so again, here, going back to the Kiefer article, again, what you see here next in the sidebar to the blog post is 2 lead magnets around gut health. And then as you scroll down to the end of the article, again, put a visual ad for your own lead magnet in place. In this case, discover how to heal your gut naturally, learn more. And that when they click that ad, they get taken to my landing page with that lead magnet about gut health. So again, people need to see that you have lead magnets, so you need to feature these lead magnets in as many places on your website as you can. So part of it could be in the main navigation, it could be on your homepage, it could be on the blog pages, but people need to see over and over your lead magnets so that they see to opt in. The next part that's important to grow your email list is to create more lead magnets. So back in 2014, Lead Pages, the company that makes the software, analyzed the top 10 revenue generating pages on their website, and it turned out all of them were lead magnets. All of them were opt-in pages, landing pages. And you can probably imagine why that is. More people opting in, more people getting nurtured in emails, more people buying their product, right? And so the same thing is true for your practice website. The more lead magnets you have, the more opt-in options you can provide, the more revenue you can create from those email opt-ins. And so it's just like a restaurant menu. The more menu choices you can provide, the more ways you can cater to individual people. So let's say somebody wants to eat pizza, somebody wants to eat sushi, somebody wants to, eat fast food, if you had one venue that accommodates all of them, then, it would be much more likely that each and every person would opt in and just say, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not ordering anything, right? And so the homework here is really to review your blog content calendar and look at, what are my top 10 blog posts in terms of traffic, and looking ahead for the next half year, what kind of blog posts do I want to write, and what would be the perfect lead magnet to go along with that? And so that's the idea, to sort of brainstorm, how can I create more lead magnets? And it doesn't have to mean that for each lead magnet you have to create a 10-page PDF. The idea is really to build quickly and then test quickly. So sometimes a lead magnet could be just an in-depth video. You can say it's an explainer video, and then you just talk for 5 minutes about a topic in depth, and that becomes your lead magnet. And so rather than saying download our guide, it says watch our explainer video or watch our master class. And so then all you need to do is create the landing page, put the title on the landing page, and then the thank you page has that video. Number 3 is, as you sort of creating the buttons for your lead magnets, think about how you can describe the value that people get from clicking the button. This is now very sort of a subconscious move, but it is important to point out. So to optimize signups, ironically, you don't want to use the word sign up, because sign up means I'm getting on a list and I'm getting spammed with emails. So what you really want to use instead is download the guide, download or featured or exclusive access or watch now or access now. So, words that really implies what's in it for me. So it's relevant to the end user, the visitor that's subscribing, that they feel, okay, here's what I'm going to get when I click that button. Your web's visitors really need to hear how your emails can offer unique and exclusive content that isn't available on your website. So again, in the left here, you see browse 50 plus landing page examples, get the ebook. I know exactly what I'm getting, and it's clear that you're not going to get the 50 plus landing page examples on the website. So this is why I need to opt in. So again, think about how you can use the language in your lead magnet opt-in pages or in your click pops to sort of really anchor in the value that people get. Next, you may inject a little bit personality into your call to action. So everybody says sign up, and for me, I always pause and laugh when I see a call to action with a small no thanks, I don't want to lose weight button underneath a prominent yes, sign me up link. So again, what you can see here from Digital Marketer on the left hand side, the offer is for getting the ultimate digital marketing toolbox. Yes, I want all of your free tools, and then no, my business is already perfect. And so it's a kind of tongue-in-cheek, it's meant as a joke. You're probably chuckling to yourself, but it makes you pause and saying, well, is my business really perfect? Should I really pass on this offer to opt in? And part of it is fear of missing out, or FOMO, that people wonder, well, what if there were one magical strategy in this bundle, in this toolbox, that could change the trajectory of my business, right? And so now, before, if you had said, yes, I want all your free tools, and that's the only option you would have provided, people would have said, yeah, I'm not interested, I'm passing. But now that you said, nope, my business is already perfect, or nope, I don't have any more weight to lose, it makes people stop. Well, do I really want to pass on this, yes or no? And again, this slightly shifts the balance towards opting in. And all of these are things that once you know what they are, you can easily implement them in your software, on your website, to really leverage this neuro-linguistic programming to make people opt in. And again, this can mean the difference between a 5% opt-in and a 15% opt-in. So just changing this one word or adding this one no button to it could triple the effectiveness of your lead generation efforts. So this is why it's so important to compound all these things. Use the yes no button in your click pop, in your opt-ins. Use value-centric language for people to realize that they should be opting in. And that also means using timed or time-delayed or exit intent pop-ups. Now, I know most of you saying, I hate these things, but hear me out. The idea is really that these pop-ups are only shown to those people that have interacted with a certain page for a while, or they're exiting. And so, the idea is not you come to a page and the first thing is that you get blasted with this click up, this pop-up. The idea is that it could be triggered after 15 seconds, them being on that page. So if they click away within 15 seconds, they wouldn't even see the pop-up, because I know they're not interested in this topic of this page because they clicked away. So you can trigger these timed pop-ups based on the amount of time that they're on a page or percentage of scroll. So let's say they scrolled 75% down the page. I know this person is interested, and so only then do I show them the ad. So one of the examples that's shown here is an exit pop. So if you left early, you can say, hey, wait, before you go, here's your next step, and give them different ways to continue interacting with my website. It could also be surveys. And so one of these surveys could be, let's take the example of the digestive health blog post. What if I would show a pop-up after 15 seconds only on the pages, only on the blog post dealing with digestive health? And it would be language like, you seem interested in digestive health. Enter your email to access your 10 ways to optimal digestive health guide. See the relevance here. This is not a gratuitous pop-up saying, hey, get on my mailing list. It's like, hey, you've spent a ton of time on this page reading about digestive health. Do you want more help with me, right? So now I can offer this to them. And again, what you see here is that we leveraged in the yes, no button. Yes, send me the guide, or no, I have perfect digestive health. And then people wonder, well, do I really have perfect digestive health? And should I pass on this offer, right? So again, these are things that you can implement for, let's say, one lead magnet for all the digestive health blog posts, and then another lead magnet for all the autoimmune blog posts. So again, if you were reading an autoimmune blog post, it would say, hey, you seem interested in autoimmune disease and autoimmune immunity. Enter your guide, enter your email to download our guide with the foods to eat and avoid for autoimmune disease. So again, we want to be relevant, and we want to provide advanced content for growing our email list. So you're already doing your social media outreach, you're already producing content for social media for your blog post. In order to grow the list, you then have to provide that second extra value add-on through lead magnets to get them on your mailing list. And lastly, on this page, what I have here is that you can also use email capture in the middle of video content. So if you're hosting your videos through Wistia, you can, let's say you have a 10-minute video, and 7 minutes in, you're saying, hey, to watch the rest of this video, provide your email address. And again, most people will probably opt in at that point. Or maybe in the video you mention a certain guide, and the video stops like, hey, enter your email address here to download the guide. And so they enter the email address, they get the guide, and then the video continues. So again, this is like, if people are in the flow of consuming their content and is relevant to them, which I would argue it is if they watch 7 minutes of your 10-minute video, then offering a lead magnet opt-in inline is yet another way to build your email list. And so, what I have here is the 6th step of what you need to be doing in order to grow your email list. And this is obviously, once you have the lead magnets, the landing pages created, you need to feature them everywhere. So for instance, in your email signature, you're sending out emails all the time, transactional emails to people that you know, that you interact with. And why not put something in the email signature that says, hey, download our guide on digestive health, or something like that. So again, feature your lead magnets, your opt-ins, your webinars in your email signature. You never know when somebody clicks on it. You never know when somebody forwards your email to somebody else, and that person is opting in. So it takes 30 seconds to set this up, and then it's working for you. As I mentioned before, mention your lead magnets in the sidebar, and at the end of all blog posts. So that's what's shown on the right. You also want to feature your lead magnets on your homepage and other key pages of your website. So here you see an example with the two lead magnets on the homepage, one for probiotics, one for leaky gut. And again, think of them as your own internal ads where you advertise your guides. And again, if you need, you can also add the lead magnets obviously into your main navigation. For instance, you have a tab on resources, and you can say, how leaky gut guide, autoimmune food guide, put them in there so people can find your lead magnets there. As far as social media is concerned, with every social media post that you post, you should have a call to action at the end. So here is an example from Tara Scott. And she says, if you'd like to learn more about the functional medicine approach to women's health and learn the fastest way to overcome hormonal imbalances, I want to invite you to watch my free webinar on this exact topic. Join by click the link in the bio. So again, this is a webinar, an automated webinar, but it could just as well be your guide that you direct them to. So it's important that throughout your lead magnets, throughout your social media content, you want to feature your lead magnets so people know how to take the next step with you. Also, if you're using Linktree in conjunction with your Instagram account, you do want to put all your lead magnets into Linktree. Next, if you post videos to YouTube, in the YouTube video description, make sure that you feature all your platforms, how people can get in touch with you, as well as feature your lead magnet. So again, in the YouTube video, you can say, hey, if you like this topic, download our guide on how to eat for autoimmune disease. A link is below this video. And again, people can then go from that YouTube video into the link description and find that link to opt in. Now, if you're using that video on Facebook, then again, put that link into the first comment when you post it or in the post description. And so then again, the video will tee up the call to action to go opt in. And then, have this example from Michael here. Again, if you're doing Facebook Lives, mention at the end of your Facebook Live or wherever it makes sense in the context of the video, hey, by the way, we have a special guide on our website about, how to deal with your gut. It's called What's Wrong with My Gut, and you find it on our homepage, so go there and check it out. Or you can say at the end of the video, remember the webinar that I talked about earlier, it's on our homepage, and we also have a checklist on our website for the foods to eat and avoid for autoimmunity. So again, as you're talking in your videos, you can just ad hoc mention it in the video and just say, go to my website, and they'll find it, or see it below in the description to my videos. So now, be creative in where you feature your call to actions, because that's ultimately, the more lead magnets you have and the more places where you feature your lead magnets, the more people will come onto your mailing list. And so obviously, what we said before is you have to have your backend system in place first. You have to have the lead magnet set up. You have to have that thank you video, and you have to have your 10 and 10 video sequence in play so that everybody that then joins your mailing list gets properly indoctrinated and gets the right first impression of you. Now, beyond social media, there's obviously two other ways, paid ways to grow your email list. And the first one is to run paid ads for your lead magnet. So you can, take a social media post and then boost that post to, let's say, anybody in a 20-mile radius around your practice. And because you're now boosting it, you now have a call to action that you can use with that social media post and, say, download the guide. And so you can use the download button so that people see the piece of content in their social media feed. They can click on the button in the ad and get taken immediately to that guide. So now you don't even have to send people first to the blog post. You can send them straight to the guide to opt in. And obviously, that is something that if people know, love, and trust you enough already, that ad is a perfect move. And you can do this for, let's say, $2-3 a day. So it's not breaking the bank, but that's a paid way to grow your email list to getting more exposure on social media. The other, and that's the final paid way to grow your list is to retarget your website visitors. So this is something that we do. Every visitor to our website at bigboost.marketing will see this ad for our lead magnet for 7 days. So if you have visited our website, then for 7 days you will see this ad. And again, every day I get like 5-10 people that take me up on that opt in, and I know that they came from this particular ad. And so I know that the growth in my email list is directly attributed to those retargeting ads. And again, those ads are only shown to the people that already know me because they had to have visited my website, right? If you didn't visit my website, you're not going to see this ad. So again, I can, allocate up to $5 a day to these ads. And that way, I have an automated way to go beyond just my organic social media to also have a paid way to grow my list. If you want to take this further, I have created a special report, the 3 email automations every integrative practitioner must have in place to nurture prospects and patients. It goes deeper on some of the things that we talked about today, and you can download this at bigboost.marketing/email automations. That's bigboost.marketing/email automations. And once you opt in, you'll not only get that guide, it's a 10-page guide with advanced strategies, but you also get additional information about how to use email marketing in your practice. And then finally, if you need help to decide what the next best steps are for your individual practice, I'm happy to get on the phone with you for a complimentary 30-minute strategy session where we can review your goals, your needs as far as marketing your practice are concerned. And if it makes sense to you, we can then talk about partnering together, but only if it's truly a win-win situation. And so to sign up for these strategy sessions, go to bigboost.marketing/apply and hope to see you on one of those sessions.